Hi, welcome to StoryHive On Location, Vernon. I'm Robb, and we are live with another inspiring episode brought to you by TELUS STORYHIVE. Today we're sitting down with Robin Martin, a multi-faceted artist who does music, film, and he guides sessions of healing through sound, and I'm really excited to dive into a story. Robin, thank you for having me, my friend.
Thank you.
Let's start off with who you are, where you're from, and how you got into playing music.
Yeah, so I'm actually from France. I arrived in Vernon end of 2018, so a little bit like a year before COVID happened. I used to be a lot of different things, but I came here to be a CrossFit coach. So I was a CrossFit coach before, and I worked at CrossFit Vernon for a couple of years. But that's why I'm in this country. And then throughout COVID, I started to do like some media stuff. I picked up a camera, I started to do some photos, some videos, and it has grew into more of a passion and then a business as well. And at some point, I reconnected with music. I started music when I was like around 16, 17 years old. I had several different like rock bands and that kind of thing. I studied sound for 2 years when I was 19 years old. So music was a big part of my life earlier. I'm 34 today, just to give some context into this. And then I stopped completely for a while. I got into CrossFit, got into other things. And anyway, I came here, did some other things, and then at some point I started to reconnect back to music about like 4 years ago, a little less than 4 years ago. And then I had a few experiences where I realized that music could be a way to... I was using music to go back into memories that I had. And it started with not doing this intentionally. It was one day I was just like listening to music and I was like feeling a little heavy, and then I kind of started to see in my head like a memory of some stuff that happened to me when I was a kid playing out through the music. I started to cry, I started to feel like a lot of emotions, and in this moment I was kind of like damn, like music can actually help me go into places and use to feel emotions. It didn't like consciously happen like that in this moment, but with a little bit of time, like that's what I realized. And through different things, I started to build like some sort of like playlist and use music and describe or guide people into memories or specific moments of their life. Did a lot of things to bring back people when they were a kid, that kind of thing. I was doing that just on the side a little bit, not with like a lot of people. And I realized that like it would bring up a lot of emotion for people. Like very often, like people would just have emotional reaction, cry or that kind of thing. And so at the beginning, it was really a realization that music, and I wasn't really playing or doing any kind of music at the beginning. It was just like using the medium of music to really go have an introspection and go have an emotional journey that can help maybe change the perspective on some things that happened to you, or reconnect to who you were in the past, who you were as a kid before all this world built layers and layers of conditioning on us, right? And then for other things as well, to facilitate or to give an outlet for the grief or for the anger or for the sadness. I just realized that music can be really used for therapeutic ways and help people feel things that is really buried inside, and that is such a great facilitator. Like one chord and then directly like, wow, we feel something. And depending on the notes you play, you can really bring people into a space, right? Like you can go into something that is more sad or more profound, or something that's more lighter or happy with just sound. And it's kind of how it started. And then it kind of grew up or like developed on its own with, at some point I brought back a little bit of me playing. I had like a smaller key and I was doing a little bit of music, but I was still using a lot of other stuff. And then at some point the voice came out, and it was in the middle of a real session with like a few people I started in a studio downtown, like in early 2023, end of 2023. And at some point, I always had a mic because I was narrating things more like guided meditation or visualization, that kind of thing. And then at some point, like the voice wanted to come out, and I started to sing and do like some sort of intuitive, like vocalize and that kind of thing. And like people, the reaction was like pretty crazy, and especially how I felt as I was doing this. And then after this session, I was like, damn, like the voice like wants to come out, like this could be cool to add. And then throughout this past couple of years, it has switched from really using other music and really guide into things to fully now, like I just do the music on my own, and I use my voice for like the full journey, and I really do different things. But it really kind of took two ways where I have really just the music, and I can do shows where I just like do the music, or sessions where it can be more targeted for people that wants to feel a certain thing. And today I do a lot of things with people that are going through a hard time, that are grieving, and using music to help with the grieving. I do things around like anger. I help people use their voice, and I make people yell and scream and that kind of thing. That is really awesome. And do things with the inner child, and do guided session where basically it's always eyes closed, and I guide people into their old room, and they interact with the kid. They hug them, and then at this moment you have the music and songs that come to really help them like bridge like love, support into the past. And I find like this is really a really cool thing that has helped me a lot. But yeah, that's kind of how it grew in this path. It's only been about 3 years that I started that, something like that. So it's still pretty fresh, and I'm still like exploring really what it is, but it has already changed a lot compared to what it was when I first started. But yeah,
I love it.
Yeah, it's
even watching your YouTube or your Instagram, and you see the videos of you, and you've got these sessions with like 20 people sitting around you, and you can just see it, like they're screaming, and it's like that cathartic feeling that comes out through music. And I think what you do is it's a lot deeper than just writing music. It's like you said, it's therapeutic, but it's like something more powerful. There's just like when you see what you do, there's I don't think there's a word for it. It's beautiful. It's when your voice comes out and you're playing, and you can just see that there's no words that you're saying. It's emotions coming out, and there's something beautiful about being able to just let loose and be free, and especially with the music. And that's like we were talking before the camera was on, is that like that's how I tend to write my songs, is I just like freestyle almost, right? But it's like you're doing it on such a unique level where you're helping people, and you're guiding them through this pain that they've held on to for so long. And like you said, like it's awesome watching people scream at the top of their lungs, because like how often do people really get to do that in the real day-to-day lifestyle? They don't get to do that. Yeah. And helping people with their pain as a musician is usually what we try to do. When we're writing songs, we're usually writing from our experience and our pain and the trauma that we've had growing up, and to help people and guide them through that, to come out with this happiness that they probably would have never felt if it wasn't for you guiding that, I think is a beautiful thing. And I think it's really cool that coming from France and wanting to do CrossFit and then picking up the guitar again, it's almost like it was destined for you to come and help the people of Vernon.
Yeah, it feels like this as well, because there's no chance. I feel like, what are the odds like that I end up here, which is like over, I don't know, like 8,000 kilometers away from where I was, and do that kind of thing. Yeah, it has been a pretty crazy journey for me as well, to just like allow it to happen, because I went through like multiple death of identity kind of thing, because I've changed so much of career and things I do, and this specifically is, it's not like when someone asks you what you do, it's not like something, that is usual. And I've always had the big fear of expressing myself, being seen and heard. So like my personal development journey to be able to like do this has been like the hardest thing about it all. And when I first started, I would have literally at the moment before singing like little panic attacks. Like anytime I would express something or do something, Yeah, ultimately I really love that because it's not only, it's first and foremost something that really helps me breaking all this trauma of like being shut down and shy and hiding everything and thinking that everyone is like after me, and really open this and find through bricks after bricks like the confidence and the peace into, yes, I do something that is a little unusual that maybe not everyone will understand, and the people of my past don't understand and misunderstood or can be have like, oh, this is weird. Like owning this and developing that to be more and more at peace and really be like, oh, this is something that I do and it's beautiful and I really enjoy it. And in the same time, it can help some other people when they just like lay and receive. That's what I really like, because it's not just like, oh, I'm not just doing this for others. Like I do this because it profoundly has helped me express and bring stuff that is inside of me outside, which has always, I've always touched like art. So I know lots of different things, and it's always been the way I can really express, because I've always been very introspective. No, what's the word? Introverted, yeah, sorry. And yeah, art is this thing where, this bridge where you can now like have this outlet, and everything that is like on you like can be channeled out. But yeah, so it's really a multi thing. Like it's as helping for me as it is for the people liking it and or taking benefits out of it. And I really like this combination, because it's not like me, take this that I'm give you. It's like, it's really an exchange, and I'm like almost sometimes as much as a spectator as other people, because there's a big intuitive aspect, and I kind of like enter the flow state. Mm-hmm. And a lot of things I have comes up as I play, So it's not like when I start something every time, like I don't know exactly how it's going to be, how long a music piece is, where, like I have a lot of different ones, but I have like a core of it, and then it's always like built around it. But yeah, there's this exciting part of it that it's always different. So yeah.
I love it. Are you a spiritual person?
Yeah.
Do you feel that when you're performing and like when your vocals are coming out, that it's like something is guiding you to guide them?
Yeah.
I love that.
100%. Yeah.
That's one of my favorite things about Bob Marley. Is he said, I'm never the one who's singing. Mm-hmm. It's or writing the lyrics. Like it's the higher power coming through, and like that's where I like where being a musician is like we are a vessel of something. Because what is music at the end of the day? Like we're picking up an instrument, we're making noises, and these noises feel good. But then to sing on top of it and to create something that is more than just a song. Mm-hmm. Like this is what I was saying. It's like you're more than just a musician. It takes it to a different level where I don't actually have a word that I can think of that describes like what you do, because it is when you mentioned it to me and I went and looked at it, I was like, I have to hear this. I have to hear a story. I have to see what he's doing, because for me, it's like the healing properties that you see just in video, just in the couple second clips that you've posted. If you see these group sessions and you see people crying, and they just feel their emotions coming out through something that you're doing, it's almost better than if someone's like, oh man, your song changed my life, because like they can listen to the song once, it changes their life. But that like this could be a constant thing, as we're like eventually you're gonna get sick of the song, the lyrics, you've heard it enough times, like you're just like, oh okay, next song. That wouldn't happen with what you're doing, because what you're doing is in the moment and it's based on emotion. So like it's never replicated. Like you're saying, you have a core, like you probably use the same chords for a certain, you're like, oh, I really like these chords and the way the voice works with that. But then to let the emotional state take over and just like flourish, it creates this like jungle in your head that people are like wandering through. Like you said, you take them to their bedrooms and they hug their inner child, and like there's something beautiful and magical about being able to help people on that level, I think, which I've never seen before. Like I've heard of people who are like, oh, I help guide people through music, but it's not on what you do. It is magic. Like even, I would love to sit in a session one day just to see how it works, because it's like, for me watching, just like I said, the couple of videos that I watched on Instagram and hearing like, for example, one of them, you're in the forest and just the way your voice is coming out, it's like, man, this guy is so good at what he does. Like, I've watched some amazing musicians, but there's just something like unique and spiritual about it, because you're not saying words, you're saying emotions, which is, I think, a little more valuable than just words.
Yeah, it's different, right? Well, first of all, thank you for saying this. I appreciate it a lot. It's funny because I'm not at all like a very technical, like what I do is extremely basic music-wise. Like on the guitar, I'm not a great guitarist by any means, and same on the piano. Like I never do anything that is crazy. It's very like simple things. I think it's the core message and the authenticity. I put me trying to really transfer the emotion in the most authentic way possible through my voice. That is the key of what resonates with people. It's not the complexity of the music, right? Like everything is very, very simple. Anyone like could play really the things I do. But the key is in like really projecting, and I almost see myself as like the bridge to put an emotion into sound waves, and like I see these sound waves going on people's body, and then it will bring up this emotion on people's body and then clear what needs to be clear. Like that's more of maybe the scientific way to see it. But yeah, it's hard to fully explain. There is a big spiritual aspect to it that I'm not always sharing, because I think this kind of thing is very valuable for also people that are not at all into this kind of thing, because it's very more on the emotional, and when I talk to someone that is not open to any kind of spirituality or the aspect that maybe there's like the spirit world or higher power that is going through us as we do this kind of thing, a lot of it can be understood and felt, and you can receive that even if you're not into that, and just talk about like the emotional body and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, there's when I started as well, like I've had like different pretty powerful spiritual experience myself, where I kind of like received or saw things, that I believe I'm kind of a bridge for. So yeah, there's part of that in my subjective perspective, but it's not necessarily sometimes that I push too much on people. I kind of do with the ones that are into it. I'm a lot into this. I love all this stuff. Since I'm a kid, I'm very fascinated and open and intrigued by spirits and that kind of thing. But it's not fully necessary to be into that to be able to receive or appreciate something like that. It does require a little bit of an open mind, because obviously like this is not like regular music. But yeah, it's something that universally can touch anyone, because we all have emotions, and we're all going through ups and downs in life. Like if you're a human, no matter your skin color, your political side, where you are in the world, your gender, anything, if you're human and you have a heart, like it will be hard and it will be good and it will be everything in between, right? So we all have these emotions, and that's where it's kind of universal, is because if you have emotions, you'll feel them through that and through the music, right?
Yeah. I think that I've always had it's a theory. It's happened many times, but like, especially being a musician, like we can pick up our guitar and we can go to Africa to a tribe who only have hand drums, and you can start playing guitar and they're going to pick up that energy and start playing drums. And I feel like that there's this like universal language, and it is only through music and math. Those are the two, and music and math go hand in hand. So like the fact that you're not saying words is almost more powerful than if you were to be saying words, because it can transcend any language, any feeling, any person, for whatever they believe in, whether they're non-spiritual or not. And I feel like what you're doing is bringing it back to the roots of what music should be, because we've steered kind of far away from what it should be, considering everything that's out there nowadays is like a lot of the music that's popular is built on computers, and it's lacking instruments. And I think that you're bringing it back to like just a 6-string guitar and your voice and a group of people who want to feel something. Not listen to something, feel something, which is, there's a lot of emotions in the world, especially in the last like 10 years, that I feel like a lot of people are holding in, because people are more closed in now. I don't know if that's just because of the years that we've gone on, but like myself as an introverted person, like these are the moments I get to speak with people. Like I hide inside most of the time. So like to see that you're taking these people's pain, struggle, maybe their fear of being included into things and making this group of people feel something, and each person's feeling something different, which is really cool, because like you're feeling what you're feeling, and she's feeling what she's feeling, and he's feeling what he's feeling, and at the end of the day everyone is just like the catharsis of this sound that you're generating is just super cool to me, because that is it's like I said, it's bringing it back to the roots, and it's like almost what I feel like musicians should be doing, is kind of just like taking that step back and being like, why do I write this? Why am I writing music? Especially like I've been a musician for 26 years, and like now that I'm able to step back because I'm not doing it as much anymore, and like see the magic and beauty that is there, that's just hiding. Because like when you're so focused on the music scene and I gotta write a new album, gotta write a new song, we gotta market the song, we gotta put it out and promote it, and like I just want to go back to my roots. And like what you're doing is like, it's inspiring for me to just like, you know what, I want to pick up an acoustic guitar and just kind of like see what the universe lets me do.
Yeah.
Well, as your journey has grown and you went from using other music and putting your own music in, have you decided that maybe one day you would record an album for it?
Yeah, so I'm just getting on it right now. The thing is, like, I don't really want to just do a regular thing and just record some stuff and throw it on Spotify and just put it out there. So what I'm in the process of, I've started already, I'm in the process, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to release these as like journeys, and it's more going to be thing that like you listen when, and you have like, probably the smallest will be like 10-15 minutes, and more as journey, but not necessarily like a song you just put like that. It's also a little part of me like wants to kind of control how people listen to this, and I shouldn't. I'm definitely trying to release completely any control on how people perceive these, but I'm more likely to start with putting out journeys, longer journeys for specific things, and I just started to do that a little bit, rather than just a regular thing. And there's also the aspect of like when I record, I have this anxiety of like, well, which version am I going to record, because it's always a little different, and then it's done and it's out there. So I'm working on like letting go of all control of things and just like, yeah, it's fine, it needs to be out, you know. For a long time at the beginning, I wouldn't share anything. Also, I was very afraid of sharing anything. And then I did it like small little bits by little bits, and then now I reach a place where I'm more comfortable with that, and I really want to do it. And in fact, I think it's the next step for me to be able to be as well like more supported for that, to really put it out. So yeah, I'm getting on that. I'm finding my way of doing it. So yeah.
I think it's cool. I think doing live albums would be cool. Like not a full live album, like you're saying, you're doing these journeys or these sessions, and that way you're not worried about the version. That's right. The version, right? Because it's like live is always different. Yeah. Change it up, and I think that's where it's kind of cool, because like you can break the barriers with what you're doing. Like you don't have to sit in the barriers of this is the music industry, because you're not just the music industry, but you're also like mental health. And you're also like spiritual guidance and your meditation. Like there's so many facets to what you're doing within just a guitar and a voice and a keyboard, right? So I don't think you technically fall within those barriers of like, oh, right, it's out there. Like, yeah, it's on Spotify, but it's like there's something there that's just like you can't replicate it, even if you have the same chord structures or same patterns. Like it's never going to be the same, and there's something beautiful about that, which I think is, as a musician, I'm like, I love what you're doing. Like I keep coming back to it, because it's like, I'm like, man, that really, it's inspiring for me, because I'm like, what else can you do like with music therapy and like guiding people through these lessons and painful emotions or happy emotions is something to be said about that. And I think that Vernon is incredibly lucky to have someone like you that has come across the ocean, across Canada, and ended up in Vernon, and it's like, hey, I want to heal people. Well, how was the transition from being a CrossFit instructor to being like, I'm gonna make films and do music and like blend the film and the music in the same aspect. Do you find that you're falling in love with one more than the other?
Yeah, it's always. I'm also neurodivergent, so like I do something, and then at some point, once I've acquired enough experience into something, I can shut my eyes and like I can literally visualize like me doing the same thing until the end of my life, and then I have some sort of red alarm in my brain that's like, no, we can't do that because it's just always the same, and so at some point there's something else, and it's not necessarily that, oh, this shines more than this. It's just like it's more from like I feel it in my chest or my gut. It's like it's a really an intuitive pull to something else, and that brings me a lot of excitement for my life. It's probably just I've depleted all the dopamine from something and then something else at the end of the day. But I believe that like I'm rigged this way for a reason, and it has made me for sure like jump into different things. But I've always had like years of experience into something before leaving it, so I take back the bagage and the experience of everything that it brought me, right? Because like coaching in CrossFit brought me a lot in terms of like group management, time management. It taught me a lot of like expressing myself and doing things in front of people, which is very hard when you're introverted or very scared or whatever. And then making content, like the film thing, it's great because today, like if you know how to make content, it's a great help. For your own thing, if you want to put anything out, right? If you know how to make some sound and make some videos and stuff, it's a cool skill to have today. But yeah, no, to answer your question, it's really I do something and then suddenly something appears and I just kind of feel like a gut feeling pull toward it, and it's just very exciting. And I've always been kind of like that. I've always had this. It's always been more easy for me like to take risk and to go do something. It was like coming here, I was 26 and I left everything behind, my family, my friends, your culture, everything, you know, all the pillars of your life, to just come here. And I knew no one except I had like a couple calls with my employers. But it's just the excitement of the experience, of like the craziness of it, and everyone is like, oh, this is too crazy, why are you doing this and stuff. I just knew it's inexplainable. I just knew I had to come and follow this, and if it goes wrong, like you can always go back. But I've always had this thing, at some point there's something and I just know I need to go there. And I just follow this because like also I'm very aware that like one day I'll just be dead, and it doesn't really matter. All that matters is really this experience you do and how, and the intensity at which you let yourself like live this thing and life generally speaking, right? Mm-hmm. So yeah, it has, to me, it feels like it was like you're talking about destiny. It feels like it was kind of like a destined path, and something like brought me there to do that, because I definitely didn't wake up any morning and say, oh, I'm going to use music to make people cry and yell and stuff like that. Like it just didn't happen. Like sometimes I think about it and I'm like, what happened? Like there's something. It has always felt like there's something that is guiding me, that is external to me, and that my job is to do all the work and personal development so that I can hold this thing and actually have a good impact and make good like around with that, just as some sort of a bridge, rather than like me with my mind like deciding and controlling. I've always like felt this, or followed these things with like a gut feeling. Yeah, and I'm also not someone who looks like super far into the future. I'm a very like day-to-day kind of person, which is great for something and absolutely terrible for some others. But you know, I'm working on this for sure. But yeah, I don't know if that
I love
is
it.
that answer. Yeah,
Because I'm complete opposite. I'm very guilty for being constantly focused on the future and dealing with the day-to-day last minute.
Right.
Like, oh, I forgot I had to do this today, kind of a thing, because I was so focused on what's next week or next month, and like that's something I want to break free of, which is why I like getting to sit down and talk to you. It's like it's almost inspiring and freeing to know that like I can let go of the future and kind of just like let what life happens happen, and kind of like learn to take a step back and slow down, because like you're constantly focused on the future, you're going to be 60 in no time, and looking back, like, I didn't do a dang thing. Like, I didn't do anything that I wanted to because I was so focused on what needed to be done. And I'm really like starting to learn how to let go of that self-imposed like work drive that I have always got to be grinding. And I'm very guilty for that, like never taking a step back to just like, look what I've accomplished. Because like even you're like you taking that step back to be like, I went from France to Vernon, and it was like this destined thing to happen, and now it's building, and you're changing your environments, and you're getting different areas to work through, and you're creating this journey for yourself and through something you love. And I think that that's exactly what everyone wants to do, but a lot of people don't know how to get to that point. Like they're just scared to pull the trigger, or too terrified, like you said, to like put themselves out there. And I think that you're a really good inspiration and stepping stone for people who want to be more but can't figure out how to do it. Like how did you take the first steps to being like, you know what, I'm not gonna take society's norm, I'm gonna change it and do something I want to do?
Yeah, I think it started progressively because I didn't jump from like, so I had this media thing going on, and I really, in my mind, it was like pretty clear to do that quite, like the first session I did, I literally went on in front of a whiteboard and I was like, okay, I understand music is this thing, okay, let's try to write a little story. And I built my playlist, I built my thing. And then I was like, okay, let's rent a little studio and let's send a message to 10 people. Let's have these people in and let's try it. And I think I come onto Instagram and made one story and say, oh, like, you want to feel this experience, this is new, it's something I'm just building. And yeah, I had 10 people coming and I did the first session, and it was pretty wild. And then I was like, from doing one thing, I was like, oh, there's something there, and I need to do it. And what always has helped me is to really be at service of the thing and not considering the thing like yours and tied too much of your identity. And identity has always been a big thing for me because I was a coach and I was Robin the coach, and then suddenly now I'm making videos and like, oh, okay, there's some confusion there. Like now I'm a videographer, and then now I'm a musician, or now I'm this, and went through a lot of this to really understand that the core of who I am, like, it will never change. I'm more of I'm just like this human that is here, and all these labels and these things are just things that can slow us down or weigh us down, or just a way to function in this society because this person needs to know what you are or wants to define you a certain way. And I started to, with the process of that, really try to remove like any label and focus on like the impact I want to have, what kind of feeling I want people to remember from this, and in a position of serving the music. I'm serving the music, serving the experience, serving the people in a certain way. And when you just consider yourself to be at service of something, it's a little easier to do the thing, because it's not like, hey, like this is me, do you guys like it or not? And it's just like too much tight, but just like I'm collaborating with music to serve an experience, whether people like it or not, whether I'm being criticized or mocked or anything like that. It doesn't, it's not me, I'm just like a part of it, right? But to maybe another aspect of your question, honestly, like to me, the biggest thing is just understand that everything is so finite and short. Like a big thing when I arrived here, one of my best friends passed away when he was 25 years old in 2019, and it really slapped me in the face, and I realized that everything can stop like that. Unfortunately, and somehow, like since these years, like it has really been completely constantly on my mind. Like it's I wake up, I open my eyes in the morning, and I'm like, yeah, this could be the last day. And I know it can sound cliche, but there's like knowing it and really knowing it, accepting it, and integrating it, and really take every day or by really knowing that, yeah, everything will end, and you never know when it will end. it has always given me a lot of strength and quote unquote like courage to really go after things and express myself more and try to squeeze more out of life and try to really do the things I want to do regardless of how it is perceived or what people have to say or judge you or criticize you, because like it's not that deep. Like we're here for a short moment and then you're gone and you're somewhere else. And so yeah, it goes fast. Like I felt like not a long time ago I was still like 18 years old. Now I'm like 34. I feel like I'm gonna blink and I'm gonna be like 45 and I'm gonna blink again and I'll be 80. You know what I mean? Like it goes so fast that if you really want to do something and you're afraid, just like really put in your face, like be really in tune with the finite aspect of life. Like you're going to be gone forever, at least as you are right now. And it goes so fast that at some point, yeah, this has been the biggest help for me to actually do something. Is that when I think about that, I'm like, okay, let's do it. You know,
right? When you were in France, do you think that 10 years ago, 15 years ago, when you were back in France, do you think you would have been where you are right now?
No, no chance. The change of environment has been massive to discover more of what's beneath. Because when you overnight, it was 8 years ago almost, overnight when you change completely your environment, and this is not just like moving from a place to another place, like everything changed, like the culture, the people you see, suddenly you don't see all your friends, you don't have all this support system. The language is massive. When I arrived, I had like, my English is still not perfect, but it was like rough English. So when you have the barrier of communication, like everyone think you're just retarded basically because you can't find the words and it blocks a lot and everything is different. Anyway, you realize what remains, right? You realize how much layers of conditioning and identity are just like being stripped away overnight, and you're like, oh, I thought this was who I was. Now it's gone, but I'm still here, I'm still breathing, so it means it was not who I was. And then you have this whole thought process of like, damn, so who am I? And this past 8 years has been a massive journey of exploring and finding who am I behind the culture, the language, the conditioning, the childhood trauma, the everything that has happened. And now, came out the other way, still on the journey on this exploration, but came out like a little more in tune and with the ability of going a little more in depth with the essence of who I am beyond all identity labels, country I live in, and all that stuff. Like to reunite with like really the core of who's this being, this character, you know.
I love it. I love the way your brain thinks. It's very refreshing, especially on like this day and age where we're so focused on like what we're supposed to be in society and not like who we are in society. We're always kind of like forced to be like, oh, well, you got to stick to the rules, you got to play by the rules, and you got to be like the same as everybody else and stand in line and be the sheep, right? And it's nice to see that like there are some people out there who have no fear of making change and creating something beautiful in somewhere they've never been. Like to come from France to Canada, that's a big transition. And to learn a different language, that's a massive transition. And then to pick up a guitar again after probably a long time and being like, I want to discover who I am again, but on a new level. And it's kind of forced upon you at this point, right? Like the universe is kind of like, hey, you opened up, you're taking what you're getting. So, and I think that that's kind of where I love getting to do this job, where I get to speak with these unique, creative people who have like these beautiful stories that like if we were walking by each other on the street, probably would never have had the opportunity to like connect on that level, you know what I mean? And I think it's a beautiful thing that you get to do what you're doing and are building something out of it, because like there's something very unique about what you do. Like I've said, there's something powerful here, and there's no word. It's just, it's spiritual. Like that's what I'll have to do. Like as much as I want to steer clear of being like anything along those lines, it is a spiritual thing. And it's like, it's a very in tune to the soul. Like each person has a soul, whether you believe it or not. And to be, like you said, like it goes very quickly. And to be able to just like stop, take a step back and be like, you know what? I'm open. I'm open to what you have to provide. Kind of a thing is, not many people can do that. Not many people are willing to do it either, right? A lot of people are like, oh, I'm comfortable in my zone. For you to be like, I'm hopping across the pond and I'm going to go to a totally different country and I'm going to create something that nobody's doing. And in a place too where like the Okanagan is very artistic and musical, but there's not a lot of like sound therapy. I've heard of like sound therapy when they're using like bells and things like that. And like it's just, but to like have somebody who's like pouring their soul out with a guitar and their vocals, and they're not like they're singing, but they're singing emotion. They're not singing words. It's like you don't see that ever. Like you really don't. There could be people doing it, but not putting themselves out in the way that you are. And to be able to just like guide these sessions, that's what amazes me. Because like I've been on stages since I was 10, and I know how to command a crowd, but I don't know how to make a crowd feel a million different things at once without saying a single word. Like that to me is like awe-inspiring, because I'm like, I understand how to write lyrics that hit hard and how to sing those lyrics on tune every time, multiple days on tour, but to be able to like have that no structure almost. Like there's a structure, but it's very like free form is very inspiring, because I think, like I said earlier, it's like kind of that's where music originally came from. And to be able to do it with other musicians or travel the world and go back to France and just pick up a guitar and start playing with somebody. I think there's something magical about that. Have you ever done a session with another musician?
Yeah, I used to. Last year I did a lot of session with two guys, the guys that was doing percussion and a guy on the guitar. It was great, but one of the guy had to go out of the province for a while, and so I kind of got back by myself. I do regularly some collaboration with other people, other vocalists, with a girl as well that sing. I do a little bit of that. I'm supposed like soon I'll be trying with the guy from Kelowna that produce a lot of like ambient sound and that kind of thing.
Ooh,
I think that'll be cool. Yeah, for the most part of this year, I got back by myself a little bit. I just wanted to go back alone for a bit, because it can be hard. That's the difficulty. Then when you play with other people, like they need to be really in the same like improvisation mindset kind of thing, and be able to read as well, like where are we going in the song. And it can be hard for people that is very boxed, fully like regular music and has to be structured that way, where I'm a little bit of so it can be hard. And it's also my fault, because I'm not like a great leader yet to how to guide people with me on that or playing with me. But some people like it's with some it has been really cool, especially with percussions and stuff. Like it's a really cool thing. But I'm getting back slowly on that. But yeah, I really like playing with other people too.
It's a total different. I was gonna ask, like when you're jamming with somebody else, naturally, just like, oh, we're gonna play some songs. There's like a really cool connection where you're both like eyes closed and you're vibing, but it's very hard to find people that you musically link with. Like you can play music with anyone, but I can honestly say in the 26 years I've been a musician, there's like 4 people who get me as a musician. My buddy JP, my former drummer Andy, my other former drummer Harley, and my backup singer Yanti. Those 4 people know me musically. Like I can do whatever I want on stage and they're like, I'm with you. You know what I mean? And it's like there's no looking at each other. It's internally. It's like there's a telepathical link between you and them, and the power that's giving you that ability to be the vessels. And it's like, for me, there's something magical about jamming with somebody else. But when I'm writing by myself, it's almost more spiritual and more valuable than getting to jam with someone. And that's where I'm like almost envious of what you get to do, because it is very like, it makes me want to pick up my guitar and just go to the woods and just sing to the woods, because I don't really need to sing to people if I don't want to. Through your journey, have you found that specific elements of trying to like separate yourself from being the healer and doing it for yourself, has there ever been a point that was difficult to do that transition where you're like, oh, I want to do this for me, but it's helping other people, kind of a thing?
Yeah, I feel like it had always been it had always been together since the start. It's like the first time I realized that, like it hit me, and it was like me, and I was like, wow, that's crazy. And then I think at the time I literally the next day I was like making it try to my partner at the time, and then she was doing it, and then I was like, it was kind of like exciting, and I was like trying on like different people and stuff like that. And then it was just like for me the act of like pushing it forward, of showing myself, of being seen, being in the light, like that kind of thing. It's the part that like, I don't want that. So doing this, it is my therapeutic thing for me. And it has always been both together, because I've never thought about like just keeping it for myself, as funny as it is, because the fear of like showing it, but I've always known like this is not just for me, like this is universal, like this can help more. And so it's this constant pull of like, I don't want people to hear me too much, but something is pushing me to people need to hear it. But in the same time, if I'm like, oh, you need to hear that, now I'm in like, oh, am I being just what's the word, I don't know, you know what I mean, like this pull with like, I know I need to be in the light and sharing, and there's the part of me that really doesn't want to be stay hidden, just do my thing and just don't want to hear about anyone or anything. And so these two things coexist, and today it's better. Like today I feel like I've removed a lot of like the block, and I have like some cool things happening like this year and in the future, and it's rolling more. But it's I don't know, both of these things help each other, I guess. Like this helps me develop myself, and it helps other people. But I feel like from the start it has kind of been, I'm not sure if it responds to your question.
They're cohesive.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, they work together. And that's kind of what I had a feeling it was, because like initially most musicians tend to pick up nobody picks up an instrument and says like, hey, I'm doing this because I want to be a rock star.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like that dream is very little. Like there's a smaller fraction of people who pick up an instrument for that reason versus people who pick up an instrument because they just want to learn. Mm-hmm. And inevitably they move and grow, and then they're like, hey, maybe I'll go on a stage. And then they hit the stage and they're like, oh, this is what I want to do. Mm-hmm. Like for myself growing up is like watching my mom be a blues singer. So I grew up at her band practices, watching her and all the musicians working together and doing this like weird telepathical thing, even though they were just playing covers. Mm-hmm. But you could see like the guitar player knows my mom's gonna belt out a note, so he stops the guitar, and then she's shining for that second, and then the drummer, everybody comes in. There's just like, it gives me goosebumps. That moment right there is like, that's what music is for. And I feel like you get to do that in a very, not a closed environment, but like a safe environment where it's like not all eyes are on you, eyes are on everyone in that moment, because like you get to look out while you're doing this too and see visually how it's hurting people's specific things or helping them or making them happy, and you get to see those emotions and then feed off of that and be able to be like, all right, you're in pain right now, let's guide you out of that. And do you ever find that's difficult to like have to manage a bunch of different people's emotions while trying to continue this one therapy session? And I guess is the easiest way to say it.
Yeah, it can be. The experience is very different when I work with just one person or with a full group. I have the tendency to try to, when it's a group, to try to be less in tune with specific people, because when I do it for one specific purpose with one person, and I can see like if there's a lot of reaction, I literally stay in tune with their emotion, how they react, to keep the intensity or lower the intensity, which is pretty wild when you think about it, because like, you play this music and you're like, oh, I thought this was over, but obviously this needs more support right now, and so you keep playing and then it fades slowly. So I do that a lot when it's with one person. When it's the group, I have the tendency to try to make myself a little less influenced with what's happening and just trust that what is intuitively right is for the greater good of the full group. Obviously, sometimes there's some moment where someone is more touched than another, but when it's a group, like, you have to kind of be more universal, and you can't do something for just one person. And usually, yeah, I just stay tuned to how I feel and try to listen to the relevancy of the piece I'm doing, and if it needs more or less, and less be influenced by the people. But yeah, so there's two different dynamic if it's one or a group. But yeah, sometimes, I mean, it has happened. There's sometimes, like, I remember I did a session, well, most of the time, like, people will cry, but I did a session in downtown last September. It was the inner child one, and I remember sometimes, like, through a session, I feel like I have my awareness that kind of like disconnect and look at things, and it's like what the hell is happening? Like, this is crazy, you know? And I had this moment with it, and I looked, I raised my head and I looked, and like almost like everyone was like crying, but not like insane release, just like, you know, slow tears. And like in this moment, I was realizing, like, yeah, I just don't even know how to explain, like, you know, like this what am I doing? Like, how did I end up here doing that? Which, I mean, I love it, but yeah, there's a part of that is like unexplainable that I think is kind of, yeah, like we said, like a destiny or something. But yeah, it's very special. And when people like ask me what I do, I say, like, I help people cry, because that's what mostly. And so, you know, in terms of label in this society, it's kind of weird, right? Like, it's like, what do you do? I help people cry, and I make people yell as well. I do some of the things, but that's kind of what I do. And I think this is where we at, like, to not wrap it up, but like the benefits of this, or why also this is powerful, is because today we live in a way that is so disconnected from our emotion. Like, we've received this external guidance of don't show your emotion, you know, swallow your truth, do everything to just adapt to this external world. Don't be tuned with your heart or what you really want to do. Just fit in, and then be miserable or depressed or cope with like all sorts of different things. And like, that's the world we live in. And so even in just helping people to just lay down, breathe, do a little bit of like meditation or whatever, just to calm and to let things like come up, to realize things, to let go of some things. Like, there's so much power into this, because it's so busy, and the distraction and the what's the word, the stimulation today, like, constant. There's no. So sometimes, honestly, some people lay down, and like there's the first thing that comes up, and it's coming because the need, like, we have an insane need for this today, to just feel things, to not be like focus outside, to just come inward and feel. There's so much healing benefits to just that, and it's super simple. And then on the top of that, yeah, you add like all the intensity of the things, and directly guide people into a place that like they have some pain. Yeah, it's a lot of things, and there's as well aspect of knowing that and being informed with, you know, like how the brain works and how the nervous system works, and how to create safety with people, because obviously like I don't go from nothing to just help someone go into some place. Like there's an energy to have, there's some sort of work to have done yourself to be able to be more safe within yourself and have a safer energy, and be more open, so that you're able to have conversation or to be vulnerable with other people and invite this reciprocity, because otherwise people tune out, and you can't guide someone into a darker place or something that can hurt if they don't feel safe with you. But yeah, it's And to rebound on something you said, there are a lot of people who do like what we call regular sound healing around in the Okanagan, and more with like this kind of stuff,
It's
like
the
crystal
bowls.
balls
Yeah,
and
yeah.
all that stuff. It is, this is definitely different than a regular sound journey for sure. Yeah.
That's what really drew me towards you, is when, because I usually put the call out to like the big groups like I did that you found, and I get a ton of responses. And this year I've tried to steer clear of musicians, because last season we talked to a lot of different musicians coming out of everything that was happening with the music scene, and watching it come back to where it is today, which is a beautiful thing. I'm very thankful our music scene is back to thriving, but it really opened my eyes to how many other art forms there are in the Okanagan, and not just painters and sculptors, but like these really unique people. And Vernon is full of them. And like coming from born in Penticton and living in Kelowna, you really get to see the difference in the cities within just the valley. And Vernon and Revelstoke seem to be these two masterclass regions of just amazingly talented artists that I'm like, I never knew this was here. But like what you're doing is a very valuable thing. And you kind of touched on a point that was like kind of awe-inspiring for me, is like there's both male and females who are coming to your sessions. Do you find that there's more numbers for one of the sexes than the other? Is it more females than males?
Yeah, for sure.
I wonder if that's because males, like you said, where we were raised to turn off our emotions and just like, suck it up, and you don't feel, and then you go home and you're miserable. So it would be cool to see like maybe a call out for a male session.
I do one in August. We do like a day retreat with 2 other guys in an animal sanctuary in Nambi.
Oh, cool.
There are more and more men coming. Like it's coming up a little more. But since the beginning, it has been at least between 70 and 90% women. And it kind of depends within session, for sure. We still have a long way to go, but it's coming, and new generations as well. Like I just had last week with 2 boys and their mom, younger guys. It's I think we'll get there, because at some point we realize that how it is needed, and the only block is because we were told something, and so we've built ourselves like through this guidance. But at some point you realize it might be some sort of psyop, and we're human beings, and we feel things, right? And I mean, I don't want to get into that, because we're arriving to the end. There's a lot of things to say about like the conditioning of the society, but
I'm guilty for it, so that's why I'm like, I'm totally one of those guys that's like, I don't have emotions, they're over there. Listen to my music if you want to hear my emotions. But if there was anything, any advice that you could give to, I don't even know how to say, somebody who wanted to create something different and didn't know how to start their journey, what advice would you give them?
I think within music or like anything.
We'll go with music and creating like kind of what you're on,
for
the
sure.
road you're on.
The one of the main thing is you don't need to be dependent on bars, on other structures, on other people and stuff like that. Like I literally started with just like having a little bit of people like on social media, and then you just rent your own spaces. There's a lot of spaces around in the Okanagan that you can rent for like $25 an hour, $30 an hour, and then you make your own poster. You go on Canva, make your own poster, and then you talk a little bit about it, and then invite people, and you can start like pretty quickly having like intentional thing. And especially with music, even if you're like a regular singer songwriter, like you can do this, and you don't have to go into places where people do other things. You can create this intentional space where people just come for you, and you may have like 2 or 3 people instead of like 20, but then it will grow. Like I did a lot of sessions with like 3 people, 5 people, under 10 people. And so really thinking about the fact that you're not a victim to the industry and how things are. You can create your own little world. You just need to have the humility that maybe at the beginning no one will really care, and then suddenly someone will be, oh, that's interesting, and then you do it, and then the person will talk, and then the next time you'll have 5 people, and then to not be afraid of having something that is very small, but at least it's yours and it's authentic and it's intentional, right? So like with the art today, we talked a little bit about AI and all this stuff. So much things like there's going to be a lot of power and a lot of value coming back into like the smaller, intentional, intimate thing. And yeah, with the minimum amount of money, like you can rent places or whatever, and just create your own thing. Don't go too quick into trying to get into other things. Start by building. I mean, you can do whatever you want, but that's what I did. And now I'm starting to be hired into like bigger events and festivals and that kind of thing. But for this past couple of years, I'm just renting a little space, making my own little thing, and then with social media and connecting with people, inviting people, selling tickets and all that stuff. But I from start to finish, it's like my thing, you know. I don't know if that's great advice. I think it is.
I think it's amazing advice.
I think, and all sorts of music or even other sort of art, like it's that, like taking back the power, view the artist, like control the things, control the tickets, control how much you want to sell, and like don't be afraid or insecure if it works, doesn't work, like this doesn't matter, like do it, invite people, and then eventually the right people will find you, and focus on the art, focus on developing the thing, focus on the journey of who you become within, you know, the journey of creating this art. And but the main thing is that like today, like let's take back the power as artists, like recreate our things. We don't be afraid of diverging from the regular industry. Create your thing intentionally, create on the connection with people, the impact of the people that you have with people, and build this way. I think it's what the future, or maybe a possible future, will be more and more into. I've never liked playing I mean, it's great. I've done it a lot. I've played in regular band as well, and like you play but choosing like playing covers in a bar where people don't really care, but with like maybe 50 people, and doing that for like 2 people here that are here to feel, like I would choose that, because I find it's just more at service of everyone, and it's better use of my time and energy. But hey, no, it's great to play in bars as well.
I know what you're saying.
Everything's great.
I understand it and feel it 100%. There's something authentic and genuine about what you're creating versus just playing for clout or spotlight, which is a very valuable thing, I think, because a lot of us get blindsided by the industry and what we think the societal norm is for musicians, where we got to stay and do a 45-minute set, and got to do it for a bar tab or a couple bucks. And it's like, realistically, at the end of the day, if you can change one person's life with what you're doing artistically, that's more valuable than playing to 1,000 people who don't care about you. And I think that's what you're doing is, it may be a slow going road, but it's one that will last. Like I don't think that you're ever going to stop doing this, or I don't think it's ever going to slow down, if that makes sense. Because what you're doing is so unique and valuable that it's just going to snowball, and it's just going to keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Like you said, you're going to be at these festivals, and eventually you're going to have your own studio that people come to you and are coming and doing it, and it's like, it's yours, and you created it by moving across the ocean and moving to Vernon and being like, hey, I'm going to do something completely new and unique. So I really appreciate what you're doing, and I can't wait to keep an eye on it and hopefully come for one of the sessions one day, because I think it'd be very valuable for me to hop into a session where I could just do some screaming that's not at people, for once, being a metal musician, right? So, Robin, I want to thank you for your time.
Absolutely.
This has been a wicked conversation, and
thank you so much.
Don't stop what you're doing. It's inspiring, even for somebody who's like been doing music my whole life. You're inspiring me to be like, hey man, there's something more that I've been completely overlooking as a musician, and that is like that emotional base of like, what can we provide people with healing versus entertainment? Because entertainment's valuable, but healing is more valuable. So I want to thank you for your story and your time and having us here.
Thank you so much.
Everything.
Yeah, appreciate it.
And if you'd like to be a guest on the show, there will be a QR code at the bottom of the screen that you can